The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, your Chief Happiness Officer, Lyn-Dee Eldridge. And today, I feel so lucky to have been able to meet, it was quite a few months ago, a matter of fact, Jo Englesson. And this woman is the founder and the creator, the Peacemaker of gratitude trainings. And I've had the greatest pleasure of going to the gratitude training down here in the South Florida area. And then her and I really got to meet and lock arms at an amazing entrepreneurial mastermind event in West Palm Beach. And that was back in August. And because the Happiness Jungle show is doing so well, we were able to get her on months later, and today is our day. And I cannot wait for you all to meet her because she is just so filled with not only gratitude, but being a peacemaker and helping us all understand the importance of living in this wonderful mantra of gratitude. So without further ado, Jo, say hi to our audience.
Hi, everyone. It's exciting to be here. And Lyn-Dee, it's so good to see you again. I felt like you just have that joy in you. And I've had this on the calendar for quite some time now, like you said. And there it was. And I have actually been saying no to a lot of people since then. So the fact that it showed up on my calendar, oh, yay, I get to have some fun.
Well, Jo, before we continue, because I'm having a little hard time hearing you, I just want to go out to our guys in New Hampshire who's in the back of the scene, Dick and Dan. Is everything okay? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can hear no problem.
Okay. Jo, we're back to you. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure, because I want our audience to hear you. I want your message to be loud and clear, to be able to do what you do best, which is changing the world for the better good. So, Jo, how did you get started? Tell our audience a little bit about you, your background. Tell us everything you want us to know about you.
Okay. Well, I am from Sweden, and let's see. Many moons ago, I moved to LA, and then I moved to Florida, and there just happened to be this workshop that my wife at the time said, you should try this out. And I did, and it completely changed my life. I walked into this training room, and it was almost like you walk into like a no bullshit, excuse my language, a no BS environment where like you can't get away with your stuff. You know, and I was like watching the trainer, and I'm like, this is profound. Like, this is, if the world could be like this, then that would be amazing. So I decided to go on to part 2 and actually it was called the leadership program at that point. And in my leadership program, I decided to go visit my brother who had his 40th birthday party. And on my way back to Florida, I ran into this older gentleman at the airport. I like literally bounced into him. And I thought, you know, based on kind of where I was at, I thought he was going to get mad at me because most people get mad when you charge into them, right? But this guy, he just kind of got up and smiled, and he hugged me, and he said, I bet you do this all the time. And and I was like, okay. And then he walked away. And that moment was the life-changing moment for me, because I saw in that instant that the way I had it didn't have to be fact or the truth, that people could actually be different. And I was so grateful. I got on the plane and I was like, what? I wanted to give this man something. Like, I don't know, what do you give someone that makes a difference in your life, you know? And so I thought of, what if we had like coin or like a token or something we could give people that literally just says, thank you for making a difference in my day. And I came up with this idea on the airplane that I was going to create tokens. And not only that, with a computer background that I had, decided that I wanted to make them trackable. So you could see where and you could pay it forward, and you could see where your thanks and gratitude would travel in the world on this big map. So I got off the plane, and it turns out Don Worms, who was the guy that I bumped into, he was on the same flight. And I went up to him and I said, you just changed my life. I'm going to start this company, and there's going to be gratitude in the world. And he was like, okay. You know? And a year to the date after bumping into him, I had minted the tokens, created the website, the tracking, all of it. And I started TOFA, which stands for Token of Appreciation. And today there's over 30 or maybe even 40,000 tokens in circulation. And it's something that's sort of been growing organically on the side. I haven't put a lot of my time and effort into it, but it's still out there making a difference, which is beautiful. So out of that,
it truly is. You know, Joe, I am so blessed, and I don't have it in front of me, but you handed me one of the tokens. I'll never forget that token, and it just brought such warmth into my heart. I give these red hearts out all over the world. They're all over the world. And when you gave me that token, it just symbolized that you and I were on the same page, we're on the same journey, the same mission. And I just got goosebumps when I met you. And then also being involved in one of your personal trainings, it blew my mind. So you are very contagious. You're you affect people in so many different ways. And you're never going to realize that because of so many people that you and now your team have really are changing the world for the better good. And I'm just so blessed that we've met. And I know that our journey together there's so much more for you and I to be doing collaboratively. You know, so it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm so
Where
glad
are
that
all of your centers?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm watching your lips as well as listening very carefully.
Well, okay, really, really quick, a side note. I'm so glad that you reminded me about your little hearts, because I got one of those hearts. And so I'm in the bedroom and I see my 4.5-year-old son running around, and he's holding it in his hand, and he's 4.5. He never puts stuff in his mouth. For some reason, this heart goes in his mouth, and he like bumps into something and he swallowed it. No joke, the whole heart. And we had to just wait a few days for it to come out. But isn't that the funniest thing ever? He was like, oh my God.
Out of a little tush. Right.
Yep.
What can I say? Is he okay?
Yes. Very okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and move forward. I want you to give, because our audience is so shaken up by life. You know, life just throws us so many hard knocks. And myself, I speak on many stages in regards that life is just full of purpose. Everything that we go through, it has great purpose. It's not a why is me. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening for me is my outlook in life. And what exactly is the purpose for it? You want to stress a little bit about that one?
Yeah, you know, the way I say it sometimes is that, you know, are you able to, you know, be in something without being of it, you know, without being it defining you? Like, can you be in a divorce? Can you be in grief when someone died without becoming the grief, without becoming the divorce, you know? And, you know, it's not always easy. I personally have had 2 really difficult years that have really tested my ability to stay grateful and to wake up. Like my wife says, like I pop up like a piece of toast every morning. And it has not been as easy over the last 2 years. and I've had to really practice what I preach. And I must say, I've been happy and joyous through it, regardless of the hardships that are coming my way. So, I think it's important. What happens a lot is that when one event occurs, it kind of spins us into any other old event that's related to that event, and so it's important to just keep the event that you're actually dealing with, and not allow this floodgates to open, and Eckhart Tolle calls it your pain body, or whatever it is, to just suddenly you're just throwing up your whole past on someone, when it really was just like they just made a request, and that's kind of when we fall from grace, and when we fall from gratitude. It's that point where you have a choice, and what are you going to choose, and are you aware enough to actually choose that?
Yeah, and I know that when I attended your gratitude training here in the South Florida area, I noticed the people that were coming in and they were very, very broken. And then I also recognized the others that are going through your training. And then when they shared their story, it was so amazing to hear them say, I used to be, but now I'm grateful. And It takes a lot for people to be able to be willing to be a student of what we both are teaching. But you seem to have really grasped it. You've got the followers, you've got your audience, and you absolutely have your students and your team. You also have your team just can't come to you and say, I want to be a part of your team. They also have to go through their own training and their own qualifications and certifications. So I really appreciate you. I can't stress enough how much I appreciate you.
Thank you. It's about creating a world that works for everyone, and I think there's a lot of people out there that try to create a world that works for some people, but how do you really create something that speaks to everyone? And I think the only way you do that is by looking at some fundamental issues, such as, choice, fear, commitment, like all these different distinctions that are universal no matter what. Like, we don't talk religion, we don't talk politics, we don't talk any of that. And so we're all speaking the same language no matter where we're coming from, and end up respecting and loving each other no matter.
Yeah, you're so right. It is a very coexisting space. Very coexisting space. And that's truly what I would love the world to be, is to coexist, to respect. Don't worry about the politics and the religion. Just do what feels good. I talk a lot about the heart, the mind, and the gut. And your heart's going to tell you one thing, your mind's going to tell you another thing, but your gut is going to give you, it's the compass to direct you into the direction of where you really need to be. Not want to be, but where you need to be. How do you feel about that?
I think that the gut is important, because it's like you're speaking about our intuition. Yes. And I also think it's important to distinguish between your intuition and your feelings, because sometimes they can be very confusing, and it's easy to allow your feelings to run you rather than your intuition and your commitment to what you want.
That's very true. We're very, very well said. So there's many people, our audience, my main purpose for the show is to make sure that our audience is healing. And when they watch our show, that they can look up and go, oh my gosh, I needed to hear this so much. So everything that you are saying is absolutely, it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Share more. I just want you to keep on talking. I'm going to be your student today.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said it's absolutely wonderful, because at no point do I ever speak of it as the truth. And so, because what it really is, it's just tools that you can choose to create the results you want. And so, is it true or not? I don't know, but it certainly works, you know. So, because what's true for people is always going to be different. So we're really looking at like what works for me, and that the trainings too are very individualized because it's essentially you seeing how you do you in life. So through exercises and different games or what have you, you get to kind of get an insight into how you are showing up in life. And once you get that insight, it's up to you if you want to choose to break through some stuff to create, you know, something else, you know. And if not, you'll also see the things that work. Like for me, when I did a training, and it was like 11 years ago, I saw that I was very controlling. And I saw that it actually worked really well in my business life, but it ruined all my relationships. And I was able to see that clearly and then go, okay, well, I can choose to take control here, and I can choose to surrender here, because that creates a better relationship. So what it ultimately gives you is choice and awareness.
Absolutely, 100%. And pausing in our life, and just to be able to not react, but respond. But when you respond, it's important that you're responding with clarity. And when we're in an argument, for instance, and people are at each other, nobody is hearing one another. They're reacting and not responding. And people are having a very difficult time understanding the true meaning of pausing. And once they understand it, it brings them to a better place, peacefully for themselves and for others. And that it is truly okay to be able to tell the other person or the other parties when they're having this kind of confrontation that, you know, we just need to take a break.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that, and I think that it's also important that when we do take a break, so we don't abandon one another, that we also schedule a time to come back together.
Yes. I love what you said about pausing, because I had a profound experience this week where I had a person that is a past student, a graduate, that needed to speak with me about something, but she only speaks Spanish. So we had to have a translator. And it was an important conversation, and it was important that I was being present with this conversation. And I have not been translated like that before. And so what happened was that she would say something, and then I might have that reaction, but that would go away by the time I had listened to the interpreter say what she was saying. So I was able to respond. I mean, it kept happening. And I was like, and I had to be so short and clear, because the other thing is, a lot of times when we speak, we say more, because maybe we said something that is very important or confrontive or whatever. And then our little, ego gets all, wait, did I really say that? I should say some more. And we either try to validate what we said, and then it just becomes too much. I couldn't do that because I had to stop and wait for the translator now to translate me. So it was this amazing example of what responding versus reacting is.
Absolutely. And that's why pausing is so important, because we automatically want to respond, even when we don't understand the language, the body language that, what's going on. Sometimes, people of different cultures, their body language is different than your culture, and you're taking it one way because you're not used to that. So I appreciate exactly what you just shared with us. The only
totally.
thing we have in common is the smile. The smile will always be the same no matter what language that you speak.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's good stuff. So what else? Look,
yeah,
do you want to see my
however, you know what? You are just such a powerful person. I just want you to share whatever it is that you want to. We only have really about 6 minutes left for this show. And I just want to make sure that we have filled everybody in our audience to be able to realize that they could be so much happier with gratitude, with being able to communicate better, and to be able to build better relationships, and not only with others, but with themselves. There are so many people that are fighting the war within themselves and putting really great blame on themselves. Forgiveness. Let's share something about forgiveness, Joe.
Oh, that's a good topic. I mean, on my deepest level of belief, I believe that there's actually nothing to forgive ever. Okay. So that's kind of tricky for someone, but let's go there for a minute. I believe that everyone is operating from exactly 100% of what they're capable of doing, given their consciousness. So if someone is doing something that, that's not, that someone attacks me or whatever, they are still operating just where their consciousness is, and they're doing the best they can. So all I can do is just appreciate them for doing the best they can. And maybe, sometimes I poke a little to see if I can support people into getting to another, because it's usually not creating what they want in their lives. But so on that level, there really isn't anything to forgive. Or if you want to hold it this way, because some people are very attached just to the word forgiveness and the process of forgiveness, you could look at it as forgiveness happens in the present moment 100% of the time, all the time, by simply accepting that mere fact that everyone's operating from the best they can. Mm-hmm. And some people ask me, well, what about a mass murderer? And it's still true there. They are operating based on the consciousness that they are in this time around or right now in their life, whatever happened to them, they are actually not able to make any different choices. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. And I'm not saying that to get people off the hook, because there's still consequences to operating from that space. But it allows for me to have compassion on a different level. And I think compassion and forgiveness are very closely related in that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. And what I teach a lot of my clients, especially when I'm on stages, is that forgiveness is for you. It's to let the poison out of you, because there are so many people that say, I could never forgive. I could never. And I'm like, but you're holding so much poison in. I didn't say for you to call the person or to email or text them or send a pigeon. I said, forgive them so you could release it for you.
Yeah, because the thing is, because you're the person sitting there with all that festering anger or, lack of forgiveness, and they might be happy in their life, moving on, like not even affected by it.
That is so true.
It is on you.
Yeah, yeah. How can people be connected to you, Joe?
So I either via Facebook, I'm on Facebook. Also, my email is just Jo at gratitudetraining.com. So you can see the website there. And that's pretty much it. And then we have trainings in Fort Lauderdale. We have West Palm Beach, Miami, Raleigh, and Charlotte, North Carolina. So if anyone is interested in that, just go to the website below here and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very much looking forward to going back to your training center, because as soon as you walk in, you feel lighter. You just feel the love. And it's just incredible, from the people that sign you in and give you your name tag. And as soon as you walk through that threshold, there's other people there that are just sharing their smiles and letting you know everything's going to be okay. You came to the right place. And that's exactly the environment that you set for others. And I greatly appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Where did you do your training? Which city?
It was in Boca, Palm Beach.
Pompano Beach? No, Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach. There you go. In that beautiful shopping center. My gosh. Oh my gosh. That shopping center is to die for. So if you like to shop and you're in Pompano and you go in there, you got it. It's just a great place. And as soon as you park your car and you enter the space, it's just fabulous. And then when you walk up the steps to your training center, it's a whole new feeling. So I just want to appreciate you and thank you so much. And thank you for being patient. I know that it was a few months that we scheduled this show out, but I'm just so blessed that we were able to go ahead and accomplish it today, because there's many people around the world We are syndicated all over the world, and I know that they needed to hear your message today.
Oh, thank you. This is so great.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're the best. You're the best. And I can't wait for you and I to meet again and to collaborate. And who knows what the world has for us. All I know is that we're on the same track for everybody to live a happier life and a happier moment than tomorrow.
Yes. Awesome.
Any
Thank
last final
you.
words before we go ahead and say see you later to our audience?
If you ever get stuck not knowing what to do, ask yourself, what would love do? And then do that.
Wow. Boom. Well, everybody, this is Lyn-Dee Eldridge, your Chief Happiness Officer. We never said that life was easy, but we did say you can be happier. And I just want to again go out and say thank you to our featured guest today, Jo Englesson. And she truly is the founder and the creator and peacemaker of the gratitude training. So connect with her. You'll be very happy you did. I'm grateful for you, Jo. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.